Everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Dr. Boyce TV, the home for intelligent black people. I'm still in the airport. I was supposed to get on my flight about almost 3 hours ago. And we all got on the plane and we all got settled and comfortable. And the minute we got comfortable, they made an announcement that something was wrong with the plane and that we all had to get the fuck off and had to sit there and wait for 3 hours while they fix whatever the hell they got to fix. On one hand, I'm happy to know they fixed the shit, but on the other hand, I'm sitting here just sleepy as hell because I did not get any sleep last night because I had to get up at 3:15 a.m. to catch my flight. But anyway, what's going on, everybody? Hit the thumbs up button as you come in. I want to tell you guys about a new movie that's coming out. There is a film that I approve of, and I feel that since I agree with this film and I like it, it's much easier to talk about what you don't like than it is to talk about what you do like. So today I'm going to talk about what I do like. There's a new film. Has anybody, give me a yes or no. Yes or no. Has anybody seen the trailer for the movie The Banker? Has anybody heard about the movie The Banker? The Banker is a film with Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie. And basically it's about two black men who basically go and become real estate millionaires by going and creating a company where they find a white front man and they go and buy houses in white neighborhoods and literally use this front man to go and buy banks and do all kinds of stuff that they did, which I thought was really cool, really impressive, pretty awesome, pretty inspirational, pretty empowering. Now, mind you, it's still coming out of Hollywood. Hollywood is not yours, right? But, it is progress, right? It's better than that crazy Harriet Tubman movie they put out. That was almost embarrassing for the earth, not just for the people who made it, but embarrassing for just all mankind. But anyway, not that the film was all bad, it's just, but I mean, something's partly good and mostly bad, like, which do you pay attention to? So anyway, so the film looks interesting, right? It made me think of a couple of things. First of all, I just generally love the idea of two black men, two great black actors, Mackie and Jackson, doing this really black movie about a black issue and in a, really cool black way. I've been really trying for a long time to get the world to really think about black economics. And Dr. Claude Anderson has tried longer than me. And I kind of feel like the tables really turned a lot in the last maybe 5 to 7 years, actually. And I'm really happy about that. I'm happy to see that. I will also say that the story was interesting because you could get a little bit of a precursor, I guess, in the trailer, or foreshadowing, I guess, in terms of, seeing what happened, when they started to win. Basically, these black men, I'm gonna look up the names, actually, the names of the men that they are portraying, so we can give props to, we can give proper props.
Sorry.
Let me see. The play or the show or the movie, excuse me, is based on the story of, two entrepreneurs, Bernard Garrett and Joe Morris, who during the 1950s tried to circumvent the racial limitations of the era by taking on the establishment by recruiting a working-class white man, Matt Steiner, and training him to pose as the head of their business empire while they posed as a janitor and a chauffeur. So basically they put the white guy out front and were able to make some business moves that would have been tougher to make if they, been tougher to make as black men. Fine, good story. I think it's worth seeing. It's called The Banker. I'm going to support it. But here's what I noticed, though. One thing about in terms of the foreshadowing of the trailer, is they show you, that these guys also went through the inevitable. The inevitable is that once they figure out that you figured out the system and that you circumvented the system, then that's when they sort of take it up a notch. That's when they take it to a higher level in terms of doing whatever it takes to stop you, right? So that's when, you see that the feds, jump in on them, and I'm sure they created some bullshit charge so they could, send them to prison or whatever. I don't know if they actually did send them to prison. I hope that that's not what happens in the movie. I don't know the real story. But either way, though, you saw the feds got involved, and basically, the white man kind of says, okay, I've rigged the game in my favor, and pretended like it was fair, even when you were losing every time, right? And some of you are smart enough to figure out how to work the rigging in your own favor, right? However, you must remember at the end of the day, I control the keys to all of this. At the end of the day, I can change the rules anytime I want. At the end of the day, I can always go around whatever rules that you thought were real because I created those rules in the first place, right? So, it's almost like when you're arguing with your parents and, you start winning the argument, and then eventually your mother just says, well, because I said so, right? So a lot of times for you, because you see dominant society kind of like your parents, they get to the point where they just say, because I said so, and they just change the rules on you. So what does this mean? What does this mean? Well, what this means is that, as a black man or black woman in America, you're always vulnerable on some level because you can't really control all the politics that happen in this country. America is a country where you are not the majority. You are in the minority numbers-wise. However, you are the global majority, right? Globally, you're the majority. Domestically, you're the minority. And so, effectively, one of the rules of powernomics, actually, is that if you want to dominate, you should try your best to wire yourself into places and positions and situations and opportunities where you become the majority. What am I getting at? Where am I going with this? Well, Africa. Reconnecting to Africa is the next logical move for those of us who care about building black, building independent black empires, building our schools, developing our tech hubs, creating industry, right? Africa is the key. And so if you want to know why I'm going to Ghana, I'm going to Ghana in the next few weeks with Mike Roberts, who's a billionaire in St. Louis. He invited me and my brother to go to Ghana with him and a small delegation of people. And I'm going to Ghana because I want to learn what's happening there. I want to understand the opportunities there much better than I do now. I want to pursue those opportunities because here's the deal. One of the things when I did my PhD, I worked under a guy named René Stoltz. Look him up, René Stoltz, Stultz. René Stoltz is one of the world leading experts on risk management. Why is that important that he understands risk management? Risk management means that you're always thinking about what can go wrong, right? What are you exposed to? What problems might you have that you haven't seen? See, you've got your knowns, you've got your unknowns, and then you've got your unknown unknowns, right? So risk management means that you're aware of all those things. Because in this movie, one point that they allude to is that these men, when they embarked on their brilliant plan, they had risk exposure that they were not aware of. They literally use that term, risk exposure, in the description. I said, that's so fascinating. They're using the term risk exposure because they didn't realize that when you're black in America, you're always at risk on some level, right? Even if you're doing everything right, even if you're not breaking the laws, even if you're, following the rules and working your butt off, there's always a risk, right? So one of the ways you deal with risk is a concept that I teach you guys. Any of you who are in my stock market class, which you should check it out. It's very, very good. It's theblackstockmarketprogram.com, theblackstockmarketprogram.com. One of the things I talk to you guys about on a regular basis is that one of the keys to minimizing risk is to diversify. Diversification means spreading everything out, not putting all your eggs in one basket. So here's the deal. Everybody who's down on this whole kind of route, I think that you have something much more than that. And by acknowledging that and connecting around the world with other people that look like you, who understand where you're coming from, who know the world is bigger than Donald Trump and the Democratic Party, then what you're doing is you're actually minimizing your potential risk exposure by allowing yourself to be diversified globally, where you've got operations all around the globe. What does that mean? Well, that means it looks like it says I'm buffering like crazy. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. I'll wait a second. Once I see some yeses, then I'll continue. Yeah, Libra, you're right. It is lagging a little bit. Let's see. Apple TV Plus is distributing the movie. Yes, I love Apple TV. I think it's very good. I'm a subscriber. I like all of them, actually. They all kind of get you. Okay, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony, Michael, William. I appreciate that. So when I visualize the future of black economics, I don't see it being domestic on any level. Like, I think that we got to stop thinking coast to coast and start thinking around the entire world. I think that we got to really think about all the opportunities that exist in our homeland. Like, we got to realize, every time we get mad because somebody gentrifies a neighborhood and the property costs too much, you ain't got to live there. You don't have to circle your whole life around whatever little block you were born on. Like, there's a lot of blocks you could live on. There's a lot of blocks your children could be born on. And so what I would say to you guys is that, you be really, I think, well served to make sure your kids have a passport and mentally prepare yourself for the idea of doing things overseas. Because I don't know what I'm going to find when I go to Ghana. I might come back and I might say, you know what, I have a video and I want you guys to take a look. I found, 500 acres in a part of Ghana that I think we could buy, and we could set up a whole operation over there. How many of y'all down to go there with me? Like an exit plan. Yes, Comey, you must have an exit plan, because if you don't have an exit plan, then they will kick you in your ass. Like, they will have you surrounded. They have you in a big, gigantic prison cell called the United States of America, and you got to have a plan B. When you got sons of bitches like Donald Trump running your country, I've never sat here. I've never been afraid of Trump the way everybody else is. I've never been as pissed off at him as everybody else is. But I don't think he's a good guy. I don't want him in charge of my life. I don't want Obama in charge of my life, because he ain't nothing but a white supremacist for the most part anyway. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, I think for all of us, we have to think bigger than the U.S. When people control the size of your world, they kind of control your world. Like, if I can convince you, it's like a relationship. If I can convince you that your whole world starts and ends with me, that I am your alpha and your omega, and that dating me is the only thing you could be doing and nobody else would want you, then basically I'm going to kill out 99.9% of your options. So don't ever limit your options. Learn about other countries, learn about Africa, get your kids a passport, grow your mind, grow your thinking. Because this movie, that's what that movie made me think about. This movie made me think about how, look, these black men did everything right. Hustled hard, did twice as much to get half as much, and started winning. And then all the white boys did was came back and said, oh, well, we control the federal government, so we're going to lock you up on some trumped up charges that, from some laws that white people made up to change that they decided to change because they didn't want you to keep winning the way you were winning before. You don't want to live in a world like that. You want to live in a world where you can say, okay, I've got a passport and I've also got some dual citizenship in Ghana. I can go and I can travel internationally and get out of this place anytime I want, because you don't know how the world can change. Okay, guys, I'm going to go because my signal keeps going in and out. I'll talk to you guys when I get to Houston. Have a good day. Love you. Peace.